Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second segment of the May 12th Trips and Traps. Andy Serling, Eric Donovan.
We have three more races to bring you. We'll start off with the second race from May 6th, a maiden special weight for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and up, going a mile. We're going to take a look at a couple parts of an entry here. Naughty or Nice and My Assets, also the 3 World Harmony and the 5 GYPSY Gold.
Yeah, it's an effort and contrast between a lot of these different horses and how this race is run. And first of all, Naughty and Nice is sort of an uncontrollable speed horse, a Darley horse for Kieran McLaughlin. I don't know if Kieran needs to cut her back, or I don't even know if he knows what you have to do with her. I mean, she's obviously got talent and speed. Her entry mate has no speed. A couple of other horses, including World Harmony and GYPSY Gold, these are horses that get absolutely perfect trips in this race. And while they finish second and third, and they're going to give the impression to people next time they run that they can run pretty well, for my money, I wouldn't bet a penny on them ever.
Yeah, they couldn't have things unfold better for them. And we see the leader right now, and that's the 2, Naughty or Nice, who's kind of just a little bit rank on the lead there as the jock tries to settle her down, going the mile distance here. You know, this is a horse that just to me looks like she's a little more comfortable sprinting. Yeah,
she just can't rate. I mean, see her throwing her head, and she's just very headstrong. And I think I was talking to Maggie, we were watching this race, and we were sort of arguing about what's going on with her, but it's basically she's just too ranked in front. The other horse, I mean, my gosh, World Harmony, you can see in those Juddmonte cells, you can't get a better trip than that horse is getting, sitting behind 3 horses dueling. And GYPSY Gold, I mean, it's every bit as good sitting back there. And both of these horses seem to have a little bit of talent, but they're just, I don't know how they're getting the winner's circle, because the winner of this race is in the Orange Silks. That horse to the teeth, the bow the whole way. You'll see that Naughty or Nice ends up finishing 6th, beating an absolute pole in this race. Her entry mate, My Assets, makes that late run. I got a feeling she's more suited to turf and more distance. Don't know how good she really is. Wasn't an illusion. But my gosh, if these horses couldn't beat You're Kidding in here, then what situation is going to develop next time if they're going to win?
They got to face a similar kind of pace situation with the horse not as good as You're Kidding, I guess, and hope that no one else could get him from behind, because certainly things unfolded in their favor. They tip 3 or 4 wide, not a straw in their path, and they just have no answer down the stretch for You're Kidding. World Harmony, GYPSY Gold, GYPSY Gold will finish 2nd and 3rd in here, but keep your eyes out for the 2B, My Assets, who's starting to make a good run here from farther back, and a good late run. You just always wonder with these horses, is it more of an illusion as to these 2nd and 3rd horses really not firing on, why My Assets was able to close ground here.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's certainly no compliment to World Harmony and GYPSY Gold. And let's not take anything away from You're Kidding, who ran extremely well in winning this race. But it's no compliment to them that My Assets was able to almost catch them. She's a half to telling, who's won her sword dancer a couple of times to 1.5 miles in the turf at Saratoga. So I'm sure the connections, it's a Darley horse, are aware of that. And you won't be surprised to see him try this horse in the turf. But they'll probably give her another shot in the dirt, considering she ran well enough. My money says, though, turf is her future if she has one.
Let's check out a couple races from Saturday now. This is the second race, a maiden special weight for New York breds 3-year-olds and up. Going 7 furlongs, we're going to take a look at the 1 Master Splash, the 3 Take a Walk, and the 8 a first-time starter GIOTTO.
I'm not 100% convinced, and you really need to look through these things, but the rail may have not been the best place to be on the dirt on Saturday. And you can see the 1 horse in this race, Master Splash, breaks a little slowly. You've got the 8 breaking well here, and the 3 horse we'll talk about a little bit later, Take a Walk. It's between horses. But first of all, Master Splash. Now, look, if you're a rider, you're between a rock and a hard place when you break a little bit slowly from the rail, because if you don't do something about it, you get shut off and it's over for you. So CC Lopez did what in his judgment was the right move, and you can't fault him for that. It's a bad situation when you break slowly, especially. The problem is this horse just went too fast, too soon, and perhaps not in the best part of the racetrack.
The problem also is this race is 7 furlongs. I could see that move a little bit more making sense if the race is only 6 furlongs, but at 7 furlongs, how are you going to expend all that energy early on, open up this big lead and be able to hold on here? I think Master Splash is better suited to 6 furlong races anyway as opposed to 7, but if you're right about the rail and obviously with the trouble at the start that Master Splash had, this horse really could be a good bet back the next time out, because it finishes 7th, beating 13 1/4 here.
Keep your eye on the horse in the square a little bit. I thought this horse, Take a Walk, besides having to spend too much time on the inside, is a horse that ran in spots. It seemed like he was running okay, and then he kind of backed off on the inside around the turns. He comes again. We're going to circle him in the stretch. As Master Splash tires, he forces him to alter course around him. The other thing is GIOTTO, the first-time starter. That's the 8. That horse makes the lead like he's supposed to win. Here he is circling out here. The horse that ends up winning is Sailmate. Master Splash is there. Now just keep your eye on Take a Walk, because very soon he'll try to angle outside of Master Splash. Master Splash will come over right about here as he's going outside, and it forces the rider to have to go back inside. The rider, Cortaldo, rides him adeptly. There's just not much he can do. But I wonder with GIOTTO, because he switches down towards the inside, too pathish, and at that point he tires a little bit, and Sailmate comes on again.
This is certainly a good illustration of a race where the rail might not have been the place to be, because you saw as soon as GIOTTO went over to the inside, it seemed like he kind of lost momentum there, and the favorite was able to come by and beat him. But the other two horses also, Master Splash, obviously he had to expend that energy early, but he faded pretty quickly. And Take a Walk just looked like maybe he was on quicksand. Maybe he doesn't like being down inside, but just didn't look like it just didn't look like he was really getting good grip of the track.
Yeah, this race made me feel that was a possibility. You have to look more at all the other races, and it's a tricky thing, and you don't want to get caught in. People overuse dead rails, and they talk about it at Churchill or here. You've got to be very careful. Sometimes races are run in an outside flow manner, or the track maybe has an outside flow to it. It doesn't mean the rail is per se dead, and you have to be careful, because you declare a rail dead, you start betting horses off of supposed dead rail trips, and it wasn't dead, you'll get buried. But this is a day to at least take a look at and make your own decision.
One more race to bring you, and this is the only turf race on the segment here. We're going to look at the 7th race from Saturday. A bunch of horses in here, some trouble going on pretty much around the turn to the top of the stretch.
It's kind of fun at this time of year to evaluate some of these turf races, horses making their first starts of the year or around here on the turf, and try to decide who runs the better races. Now, we'll try to go through this and figure out all the horses we're looking at. One horse we're looking at is down the inside. That's Lemon Punch. KARAKORUM Fugitive is going to get involved also a little bit. The eventual winner is a long shot. That's Loyal Shadow. Upper East Sider is another one making the first start of the year. And PARAIBA, and I'm not making an excuse for PARAIBA, because I didn't bet her in this race. I've bet her a lot. She was best in this race. And frankly, maybe she just took off from the outside post, and with nobody there, she got overeager. But I don't know if anybody could have expected her to be basically right on the pace going 7 furlongs.
Yeah, she's a horse that has come from mid-pack at best in route races, so turning back in distance, you'd figure she'd be 7th or 8th early on here, but she's up close and attending this quick pace in here, and the rider's actually going to make more of a move around the turn to keep her up there. So he's able to relax her around the turn, trying to rate her a little bit there, but now pushing up a little bit and making a 3-wide bid. Yeah,
and you got the winner coming from back here, so keep that in mind from a dynamics perspective. She outran the dynamics, and she was the best horse, but she didn't win this race. Now, Upper East Sider is behind. Now, she's seemingly getting that perfect trip, sitting in 4th or 5th. I think she got in an uncomfortable spot, and some of that had to do with the winner coming over, and we'll show that later. KARAKORUM Fugitive's an even tougher spot inside the eventual winner. Mylon Studert's doing a decent job trying to keep those horses in, but she can't really do it. There's PARAIBA. Now, Lemon Punch is down here. The other 3 horses are all lined up in a row, and they'll enter the stretch 4, 5, and 6 wide. But as you can see, Loyal Shadow's already leaning on KARAKORUM Fugitive, who in turn is sort of pushing in Upper East Sider, and Lemon Punch is getting pushed in towards the rail and never has a fair chance to run. So she really made things tight on them, and it affected their chance of winning the race. Not saying they would have won, but it certainly prevented them from having their best shot.
I think so. I mean, I think PARAIBA, ran the best race out of the 5 of them that we showed, and Loyal Shadow got kind of lucky to be making that outside move to be able to force those horses in. We'll take a look at it on the head-on here, and toward the inside is Lemon Punch, the 3 other horses toward the outside.
Right. I mean, look at how they're basically the 7 path and in, but you see Loyal Shadow's coming over here and ends up very quickly in the 4 or 5 path, and those other horses were sort of victimized to getting it tightened up. I'm not saying it wasn't good race riding or an unfair advantage per se, but it certainly affected them having their best chances. And I think Upper East Sider may have been tightened up a little bit. They also got beat enough ground that I'm not really sure it ultimately mattered, and maybe the best 2 horses ran 2nd and 1st in this race. But this is an interesting race, and as you said, Lemon Punch horse, who knows? Yeah,
I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't tell if the rider didn't have much horse left in the stretch, or just if there was never a seam to run through. There was a wall of horses in front. It didn't seem like he really had any kind of spot to be able to go through, a seam or try to take it outside, because there were so many other horses to the outside there that were jamming her down inside.
Yeah, no, this is a good race to take a look at a few times, because they're going to run against each other. You'll see them again. We'll see them more than a few times. I think it was an interesting start to the turf season for many of these horses. Anyway, that does it for this episode of Trips and Traps. Once again, we love to hear. We always can use the help. Give us your thoughts. Trips and Traps at NYRAInc.com.
Thanks for watching.